Today, we're diving into figurative language. That's when words go beyond their literal meaning to paint pictures in your reader's mind. There's a lot of types of figurative language, but today, we'll focus on 3: similes, metaphors, and personification. Figurative language helps set the mood of your writing. Mood is how the writer makes the reader feel. Figurative language just helps set that feeling. The mood can be light and playful when you use fun, silly, or cheerful words. Or it could be spooky and mysterious when you use eerie, shadowy, and whispery words. All right, let's start with similes. These compare two things using like or as. Think of it as making your writing sparkle or shiver. Let's take a look at some similes using pumpkins. Here's one. The pumpkins on the porch were as bright as the sun. Now compare that to the mood of this one. The pumpkins on the porch were as hollow as empty skulls. See how I did that? Just by changing the comparison, the whole mood shifts from sunny to scary. Next up, let's look at metaphors. These also compare things, but without like or as. You just say something is something else. Let's take a look at some examples. In this first example, we keep the mood light. The full moon was a silver coin in the sky. Now let's see what happens when we change the metaphor and change the mood to something a little more spooky. Now let's change the metaphor to change the mood. The full moon was a watchful eye following me through the trees. See how I did that? I changed the metaphor and it completely changed the mood of the scene. And finally, our very last figurative language type for today, personification. That's when we give human traits to non-human things. Let's keep the mood of our first example with personification light. The autumn leaves danced across the playground. Wow, what a beautiful scene I imagine in my head with that one sentence of figurative language. Now watch how I use personification to change the mood into something much more spooky. The autumn leaves whispered secrets as they slithered down the street. Personification is really cool. When objects act like people, our brains react emotionally, and that builds, or in this case, changes, the mood. Remember, mood is how the writing makes the reader feel. Figurative language helps set that feeling, and it's all done with the words you choose. All right, let's play a little game now. I'm going to give you some figurative language, and you're going to tell me, is the mood light or is it spooky? The first two are going to be similes. Let's get at it. The black cat tiptoed across the fence, quiet as a ninja. What do you think? I would have said light too. That's kind of cute to think about a cat tiptoeing across the fence like a ninja. Let's try another one. The black cat's eyes glowed like candles in the dark. If you said spooky, you're right on. The mood of this one is a lot more spooky because it talks about candles in the dark and the cat's eyes are glowing. All right, now let's try some more with some personification. Here's the first one. The jack-o'-lantern smiled wide as if it knew a funny joke. Okay, that's right. The mood is light in that one. Here's another one. The jack-o'-lantern grinned wickedly in the shadows. Okay, another easy one. That one was more spooky in mood. Well, you guys all did great, and I think you learned a lot about mood and figurative language. So remember, figurative language isn't just fancy writing. It's how you change the mood and make your reader feel something. So, to recap, similes compare things using like or as. A metaphor, on the other hand, says one thing is another. And then we have personification that gives human traits to objects. And mood is really important. It's how your writing feels. Now, here's a challenge, everyone. Grab your notebook and write your own spooky or silly Halloween scene using at least one simile, one metaphor, and one bit of personification. Then decide, is your mood trick or treat? Happy Halloween, writers!